Hello, my name is Matthew, this is Zedcraft Season 2 and welcome back to my base. It has become more hollow and also less hollow, so I'll explain what's going on. We've got obviously beacon, that's just running haste 2 for the digging, big wheat farm now, temporary of course, it's ugly as heck, but it provides the food and that's what we really need. Chest monster everywhere. This was originally going to be the storage system, so all manual, everything nicely labelled in the floor and everything, but I've decided it needs to be automatic. I need item sorters, so item sorters is what I am going to have, and somewhere in this space I'm going to build a full storage system, but that is not what we're doing today. No, what we're doing today is this. See all these holes? Lots of holes. So one of the things that keeps happening is that mobs keep spawning right up in the sides of the mountain, and then they fall down, and then they come over here, and then they try and kill me. And really don't like that. So I'm going to do something about it. Over here I have made this sort of wiggly squiggly glass thing, and I really like it, and I am going to take it more across the front, but I'm not going to do that everywhere, because this side of the mountain, the natural terrain is more interesting. That side was always very, very sheer and vertical, although the glass there more or less follows the original contours. But this side, I'm going to keep it more mountainous. I'm going to fill in a lot of these holes. I'm going to put glass in some of them because we want some daylight. We want some idea from outside that this is habited. And I'm going to try a thing that I thought of. So there's got to be some kind of lining. I can't leave the dirt just like this. So what I'm going to do is think about stone. So basically it's going to end up coated in stone just like it was when it was full. But it's also going to have wood that's going to look hopefully like, I don't know, bracing or just sort of decorative, and then glowstone, so that this isn't all dark. It's not going to cast useful light down here, but it is going to make the walls look better. And if that works really well, then I'm going to kind of take it all the way around. But the place to start is going to be this corner, because it's kind of the most exposed corner and the most complete in terms of what else is likely to happen there. So I shouldn't have to redo it. Oh, and by the way, this is the creeper farm. Now has 4 levels. It's producing gunpowder at a reasonable pace. I'm quite pleased. Need to do some decoration. This is a very, very dodgy automatic sugarcane farm. I'm going to build a better one, but it's just helping me out to start with. There is sugarcane being produced, and there is gunpowder being produced here. So at some point, if we come by here often enough, we'll see a creeper fall. I want to put some glass in like the bottom part of this drop shaft so that you can just see them without having to specifically come and look, because that's always nice. But I think time to go to bed, and then we can get started. So what do we need? Scaffolding. Spruce. Glowstone, which I've got. I've been shopping. And stone, which I have in great abundance. Some of these chests are not pure stone, some of them are. All of them have a lot of stone in. That's what happens when you hollow out mountains. That should do. I think get some glass in some of these gaps and then start lining the stone up, and that should get a really good start going. So we'll start off. Ooh, and this needs to be turned into a proper door, so I shall get on with that as well. But I haven't actually tried out the build that I'm intending to do, so I'm going to have to see, well, experiment and see if it even looks any good, because it might be horrible. But just get some of this glass in. Try and make it look, hopefully it'll look good from outside as well. That's a primary requirement, in fact. So let's just get up here, put some more of this glass in, and then maybe pop outside and have a look. And and see how it's going, because like I've been saying when I was building the canal, the only thing you can do is go outside and find out whether what you did was any good or not. And we can just... So, as expected, it looks like a hill with some glass in it. Good. Onwards. So the basic glass is in, but we can't leave this dirt all exposed. So the next job is going to be to line all of this with stone. Now, I've been thinking about shapes and all sorts, and I think the basic requirement is just that we can't see the dirt. So I'm just going to be fairly narrow. I'm thinking about leaving this, but I can always put the grass back. So actually, let's just go here. There is a very good chance that some or all of this resulting hill, should we put some glass in here as well? That some or all of this resulting space, interior space, is going to be grass and landscaped, because actually interior landscaped spaces are really, really nice in this game. I had quite a bit of fun with them in sort of relatively constrained scenarios last season. That glass is actually not going to be visible, so we'll get rid of it. Yeah, in relatively constrained spaces last season. So messing around with it on a larger scale this time will be quite fun, I think. And then we can, make things pretty. Prettiness is good. Landscaping is good. And I'm going to landscape all outside as well. I've said before that the tree farm is more of a temporary thing at the moment. It will be moved somewhere else and regulated and made easier to harvest and all of that. Possibly even building a tree farming machine at some point, but I do need access to an awful lot more bone meal before I can realistically put one of those together. But in the meantime, there is stone to place, so I'd best just get on with that, hadn't I? So the stone's in place, the dirt's covered up, we're ascending into the corner there. Well, it's covered up part of the way up. I didn't want to do like too much because I don't know if this is going to work yet. So the next thing to do is let's get some... Oh, there's a missing piece of dirt. Let's get some wood and glowstone involved and see if the whole concept is a terrible idea or not. And I really should perhaps do this on a creative server, but you know, I'd have to go and hollow out a mountain first. And I've already done that here. So it just seemed like, you know, less effort. So the idea is that we pop some... No, not... It's going to be fun with the directional blocks, isn't it? We kind of pop some in there and then maybe in there. And I think I'm going to need wood blocks. Because do I want that showing? Well, we'll see. And then... You know how you get a concept in your head and then you have to try and figure out how to actually build it? I'm in that stage right now. So pop that there and maybe just follow this bit up for a bit and then don't be quite so linear for another bit and then up this way for another bit. So we've got a sort of wooden thing writhing its way up. Let's get the scaffolding up a bit higher. Scaffolding is great, but it also has a habit of sort of getting in its own way. And then you fall off it. Good thing I've got featherfall. So that's there. And then if I start another one, so I'm going to have to get rid of that top, just pop another one down there. Okay, come here, and then here, and then they can connect there. So a bit like the glass thing, this isn't about regimented shapes. There's going to be that contrast. I mean, this is a pretty regimented shape. Yes, it's got this spiral around it, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it. And I think the stuff, there is going to be a mix in here of regimented stuff and sort of not regimented stuff. But if I just pop some logs in there, then we have it connecting together. And we get some sort of colour contrast, variation and so forth. And then if I grab the glowstone, and this of course is the key thing that's going to make it good, is that everything gets lit up. So there's going to be bits of glowstone sort of tucked away inside this whole wooden whatever it is. And yeah, so it won't be all dark and horrible. That's the basic idea. So, hole in the floor there. I need to carry on building more of this and see where it goes and if I want to keep it or not. You know, I really quite like this. I think maybe there's some more variation that can be done with blocks in here. That piece of glowstone needs to move, but the basic idea seems quite sound. Kind of need to wait for it to be dark outside to really get the full effect of the lighting, because obviously there's a lot of daylight coming in through the glass. But looking at the difference between this side here and this side here, I'm quite pleased with that. So I need to take a line up sort of that kind of path there and whack a couple of glowstone in. Yeah, but I think another block is required. The stone and the wood by themselves, not quite enough. Here we go. It's getting dark. Someone will sleep soon, I'm sure. There's a few people online and they're being quite proactive about that. But there's enough to see the difference. Oh, yeah. I need one down here somewhere. Yeah, I like it. So I'm quite pleased with the way this has all turned out. Obviously I need to go up to the top here and finish it off, maybe bring some wood off there to just get up there, but it certainly looks a lot nicer. But I was thinking about that extra block that I was talking about earlier, and I think it needs to be something that can conceal the glowstone but is still transparent enough that's going to have an effect. So I was thinking trapdoors are good, but what's even better, different colour, leaves. So I need to go grab my shears and harvest some leaves off some of these trees. It's going pretty well so far, I think. It's quite a nice thing to do, just adding these sort of extra decorative blocks in. And it really does something to the texture of the whole piece. I think block palette is something that maybe I've not been thinking about as much as I should. Certainly not as much as I could have. Oh, that's going to be difficult, isn't it? And you just have to get the right kind of combo of everything. And then, I guess see how it looks. But let's take this down, get this bit done. And then I think probably drop back down to the ground, get rid of the scaffolding and have a look. Because it's nearly done now. I'll cover up the glass and sort of head over this way a little bit as well. Trying to break it up a little so that it's not so rigid. That's the other thing you can do if you get the right blocks. And leaves are amazing for this because of their shape, and that's something I'm really starting to realise. It's not just the shape, it's the overall, complexity and transparency of them. And they add a lot just by being there in a few places. So, pop down here. Scaffolding. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that's so satisfying. And what have we got? Yes! Oh yeah. pop some round here. Can reach that from here. But what about sort of there? I mean, it's going to need a bit of tuning, but yeah. Basically, it's not right yet. It needs some tweaking, but I think it'll do. The problem is, of course, every time I want to look at it, I have to demolish all my scaffolding, and every time I then want to change something, I have to build a load of scaffolding again. I think I need to be a little less vague with where the leaves are going in the overall construction of this, because yeah, that does help, because some of it, like this bit, is a little bit sort of insipid. This bit's alright ish, but no, not there. Little la-dee dum da, little la-dee do, dee hadden dee dum dee do, dee dee doo da do. Isn't that snow pretty? No, I can't see it properly. I have to go back up a bit higher. Isn't that snow so pretty? Oh yes. But yes, it seems like leaves, you have to be quite solid with them. And I guess that makes sense because they're not really a solid block. So if you place them kind of sort of scattered around, they don't really work. But if you get these nice dense lines and things, they do. Oh, hello. They do work really nicely. So let's take down this, and I think for today it's done. Oh, what an improvement. Still so much to do. That needs more excavating around there to bring out the terrain, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do over here. But this corner, this works so nicely. I am so happy with this. So with that, thank you very much for watching. My name is Matthew. This has been Zedcraft Season 3. Goodbye.